genders, and races have come together to demand change.
Well, Jody Armour is a professor of law at the University of Southern California. He joins us now live from Los Angeles. Thanks so much for being with us. You know, that testimony was so emotional, but still, we're hearing congressional Republicans will at best water down most proposals for police reform. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, well, even the proposals that are on the table have proven not to be enough in places like Minneapolis, where George Floyd was killed. You had many of those same kinds of proposals, body cams, implicit bias training for police, de-escalation training, community policing, and it hasn't made a significant dent in this problem, at least enough of a dent to prevent these kinds of tragedies again. So until we get to the underlying problem itself, which is structural racism, deep going in America, dating back to slavery, going through Jim Crow until the present day, I think some of these measures are just Band-Aid measures. Defund the police is the battle cry on the front lines now, and that's where we have to go.
Right, but I mean, you've got President Trump, though, you know, he's now saying actually that he won't let George Floyd's death be in vain, but at the same time, he's also saying he will be the law and order president who's tough on crime. He will not defund police. Can he have it both ways? Is there a healthy in-between here?
Well, everyone wants to try to have it both ways. They want to go down on one knee with protesters, give them fist bumps, engage in a lot of hollow symbolism that doesn't really translate into deep-going, substantial changes. So actually, the president isn't that different in that way than a lot of Democrats. Both sides of the aisle are more concerned about kind of symbolic changes than with the real substantive ones like defunding police. Until I hear the Democrats have been as resistant to defund the police cause as the Republicans. And until we're ready to start talking about that, then both sides are really, I think, being more superficial than substantive in their approach.
Yeah, I think there needs to be better definition, though, of what defunding the police would actually amount to, because some are playing it off as you're asking for anarchy. You know, we're not going to have protection, basic protections. Our communities won't be safe anymore. And that's really, from what I'm understanding, not what it's all about. I only have a minute left with you, though, and I need to ask you, I mean, you said the real issue here is about structural racism, and until that's addressed and fixed, none of this will get better. How do you address that and fix that when so much of the racism in the United States is, in a sense, passive racism from people that don't believe they're even racist or can even begin to empathize with what minorities deal with on a daily basis?
Well, they just have to walk through Skid Row here in LA, which is the largest homelessness encampment in America and the fiercest expression of structural violence in America, and see that 75% of the faces are Black. And so that's what they mean by defund the police, not get rid of the police or abolish the police, but channel resources that are going to the police department. In LA's budget, that's 54%, to social services, to housing, to education, to healthcare, so that those people in those dire situations, disproportionately Black, aren't stuck and trapped in those situations any longer.
Okay, Jody Armour, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for being with us.